Hey everyone, I'm your host Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show. And today we are going live and direct, and we are going to talk about shifting your mindset and how to take your mindset to the next level. And I have this powerhouse speaker, this lady coming to the Gentleman Style Podcast stage, and she's going to help us take everything that we've learned, throw it out the window, and do better. And you won't want to miss 1 second of what she has to share today because it is absolutely life-changing. Stay tuned. Stay with us. Here we go. Hey everyone, I'm your host Marcus Norman of the incredible Gentleman Style Podcast Show, and I have Miss Victoria Rader, and she is on the Gentleman Style Podcast Show today. And through thousands of client sessions and seminars that she has taught throughout the United States and across the globe, she has witnessed that the cap to our fulfillment, one's fulfillment, is defined by their subconscious programming that we have all been brainwashed and thought of and how to think and feel. And so what she does as a result of her coaching and her mentoring, she created products and services with a unique success formula of healing one's heart, freeing one's mind, and expanding one's skills to see, create, and live a life of limitless possibilities. And she is not stopping there through her incredible programs. So help me welcome, without further ado, this powerhouse speaker of the U2 Shine group, Miss Victoria Rader. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us on Gentleman Style Podcast Show.
Marcus, what an honor. And I got to tell you, my mind's very visual. And as you were talking about throwing things out of the window, I'm like, yeah, make sure you unclench your fists. Because very often as you throw things out, you're still holding on to them. And that's where you're flying behind them. So thank you for that amazing image.
Absolutely.
Unclench the fists, let go, and let's go.
That's so true. That's so true. We tend to hold on to things a little bit too long. We hold on to things that are actually hurting us. The imagery of it. I also get the imagery of like one holding a knife, right? Right. You're holding on to a knife, or you're holding on to a rope, trying to hold on to something, and it's wrapped around your arm, and it's damaging your arm the tighter the grip gets. But if you relax your hand and you loosen your hand and you let it fly, you'll actually realize you're no longer in pain. So
Love it. Love it.
but you, madam, you have found the secret code. You have cracked the code to what we've all been missing. Tell us, what has been your inspiration? What has inspired you to do what you do?
Well, I couple things that come to mind right away. I was born in the Soviet Union, in Ukraine, part of the Soviet Union when it was still a part of it. And, of course, now everybody with the war in Ukraine knows where it is and the people's love for freedom. And what a lot of people don't know is that that love for freedom is not just the most recent incident, it's a 500-year story. There were a couple artificial famines that were created, and 9 million people were starved to death to kill the entrepreneurial spirit. And so it is just very deeply in me. And so when I was growing up in the Soviet Union, our external choices were limited or non existent. If you were going to vote for a political candidate, the freedom of choice consisted of one name and two boxes, yes and no. And if you, unlike 99% of the population, voted no against the one candidate of one party of the government, you were persecuted in miscellaneous ways. And so the understanding of, and it was 70-year regime, of complete absence of external freedom. But it was a gift to me, Marcus, because what I realized is that no matter what was happening externally, nobody's hands could touch what was happening internally. And it became my sacred place of refuge. It became a place to withdraw into, to dream, to create, to imagine. And throughout the years going forward, I have come to understand that that faculty, the mental faculty, the capacity of the mind to imagine, is one of the 6 foundational principles of what a mindset is. And so when people talk about shifting their mindset, I find that a lot of people didn't know what it was. And I find that with gratitude for the lack of freedom in which I was brought up, that shifting my imagination and the other 5, my perception, learning to lean into my intuition, understanding the role of the memory, reason, and will, has equipped me to create the reality of my choosing. So that's in a nutshell the background that came to mind when you asked kind of where did it start.
I love that. I love that. And thank you for breaking that down. You see how she broke that down so delicately? Uh, Miss Rader, tell us, how do you what is the common theme that you see with people in America struggling with? What is the common denominator that we continuously just get stuck in a rut? We get stuck and we get bogged down and we just kind of want to stay in this kind of mundane place, even though it's not serving us. We're not happy here. We're not doing well here. What is going on?
Going back to that word, and there's more than one thing, but the first ingredient to your great question is that when you go to the word imagination, it is actually based on image, on self image. You see, when you go to a conference and you're told to dream big, they're just words. You're told to take massive action. They're words. You will take the action that is limited by your self image. You will dream the dream that is limited by your self image. So then, what is the self image? Your self image is a reflection of your awareness of your self worth. And I think here in the United States, the self worth of us as infinite beings, if you're a person of faith as children of God, if you're a person of spirituality, then divine beings of light, however you understand yourself to be more than here, now, in this body, our self worth has shifted to things that are temporary, and it is being defined by the temporary things, right? And so the lack of temporary things makes us feel like we are unworthy. Oh, my car is 10 years old and my neighbor's car is brand new. So I'm looking at my neighbor through the prism of materialism, and my self worth is affected. So, what do? I go buy a car I can't afford. I go in debt, and my self worth is even more damaged. Or I just give up and I say, forget it. I don't know how to. So, that's one aspect of self image. And the second aspect, I tell people the greatest secret is still work, but it's got to be aligned and intentional work. Because very often I give this formula of success to my new clients that your mindset times your skill set times your effort equals your results. So the reason we're stuck in that negative rut very often is because we're wired to be working on only one of them. You see, it's very popular now to be talking about, oh, shift your mindset, everything shifts. Not everything, not everything, just your mindset. Your mindset times your skill set times your effort equals results. What happens if one of them is a zero? That's why you have a lot of gurus sitting on the pillows that are producing no results because their efforts are a zero. And then you have, on the other hand, a lot of hardworking people. They are in what we refer to as a rat race. They're going in circles, putting an honest effort. But what they would need to is increase their skill set, the practicality of their skills, or tap into their mindset. So, only by knowing, so if you're listening, where are you stuck? If you're feeling stuck, here's your key. I'm actually wearing a key. It's completely coincidental, but if you, here's your key. Ask yourself, look yourself in the mirror and say, okay, is it my mindset? Is it my skill set? Or is it my efforts? Only you and you know the answer. And then increase one of those, but just like 1%. Because increasing it and getting better in one of those three, just a teeny bit, will increase the results exponentially.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Mic drop. Miss Rader, you have created a number of different products, number of your best-selling author of the Until You Win, Until You Shine, all these, you have a Manifest Me journal, you have another book, Ignite Your Wisdom, you have the Mazer Me apps, you have your own EFT, all of them based off of the premise of free me or the me concept, but you do something unique. You do something special. You have a lowercase m and you have a capital E in your me. Can you share why is that, or what is the technique and the thought process behind this, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So, all of us at some point have referred to ourselves as me, right? I am me, it's for me, it's not for me. And we say that as a me. So, me is the word we use quite frequently. And so, when you look at the usage of that word, we've decided to code it with the meaning of who we truly are as that little m. And as a reminder of who we truly are, yes, a part of us is mortal and the part of us is eternal. And we're here for the mortal to surrender to eternal. Yes, a part of us is matter, and the part of us is energy. And our matter here matters through surrendering to the light of the energy that we are. Yes, we're here to master material basics, but not at the expense of the essential. So we're here to surrender our material to the essential. And finally, yes, we're here to manifest beautiful blessings of this life, but not at the expense of our spirit expanding. So we're to surrender the manifesting practicality to the expansiveness for which we have come. And what comes now as a story is a story from back when I was about a 5-year-old kid growing up back home. And I was a very innovative kid, you know. And my grandpa was watching me. My mom and dad were at work, and I was playing with my dolls, playing house, I guess. And I really, really wanted to have a clothing hanger for my doll. So I pulled out a metal hairpin out of my hair, and that's the story actually in Ignite Your Wisdom, and I plugged it into the electrical socket. Now, back home, it is 240 amps. It's not, kind 125. It's not a good idea to be plugging metal things in electrical sockets. Now, gratefully, the fuses blew, and, so did my grandpa when he ran in, and so that I was gratefully not dead. But what happened there, first, the reaction of him screaming, "You could have died, you could have died, you could have died," started me on the whole path of fearing death. That's a whole other topic. But I wanted everybody to kind of have that visual, because that electricity coming to that socket at that great power is the same energy, the same power that comes to all of the sockets in the house, here in our homes as well. But notice, if I'm the different light devices or electrical devices, the output of the power is different. So the 100-watt bulbs is very bright, but the little refrigerator, 5 or 10, I don't know, whatever it is, watts, it's pretty dim. And so what saved my life, the resistance in the fuses, the resistance in our life to the energy which we have come to be dims our light here. All of us have access to great infinite power. And the level of internal resistance of that matter, of that mortal matter, of the little scared self inside, is what limits the flow of that power. So when I say I am me, and with each product that we have that reminds us I am me, I'm reminding, yes, little m is always going to be scared. There's always going to be a part of me that wants to resist the change, that wants to resist the flow of greatness. And I got to hug her and I got to tell her, I got you, and we're going to do it anyway. And I haven't come up with a better way of remembering that than by saying, I am me, little am biggie.
Love it. Love it. Mic drop. Mic drop. And that's huge, and that's very true. It speaks to a lot. It speaks primarily to our humanity and what we instinctively want to do, and who we are and who we've been designed to do. And so, thank you for breaking that down and honoring us and sharing that, because it exemplifies the human experience and what we all deal with, but what we all are also capable of. It shows you that you can go from having this scared and fearful mind to upgrading and being having a better experience and having an ultimate experience, and just doing better. But it starts with us. It starts with this internal work. First, looking outward. We have one short commercial break. We have to pay some sponsors. We got to pay some bills, but we will be right back to the incredible Miss Rader.
If you're looking for a reliable professional trucking and logistics service, you've come to the right place. Musa Trucking is a veteran-owned and operated premier transportation provider that can help with all of your trucking and logistics needs. Musa is revolutionizing the trucking industry through strategic partnerships, the development of core personnel, and the use of cutting-edge technology. Our inventory system ensures that cargo ends up divided into the right trucks and reaching the correct destination. Our drivers are dedicated to transporting goods efficiently and safely. Contact us today to get started by visiting the website on the screen or by calling 757-756-5246.
We are back to the Gentleman Style Podcast Show, and we have Miss Victoria Rader, and her company, her brand is exploding and sharing how she's changing the mindsets and helping us upgrade, change our mindsets, our skill sets, and our effort to actually live our best life. And if you missed that, go back, scroll back, and check her out as she's spilling the tea on how we can live our most opportunistic, essential, and best life. What do they call it? A hot girl summer. You can have all the hot girl summers. You can win all the accolades if we just focus on me. Focus on me. Do the internal work ourselves. Miss Rader, I wanted to ask, what is your sequence, or what do you coach to people? What is the sequence of manifesting someone's best life? What does that process look like? Is it the mindset first? Is it the skill sets first, or what does that look like?
It would be a mindset of awareness. You start with a mindset of awareness. Before you change anything, you want to know where you are, right? If let's say I'm in Kiev in Ukraine and you happen to be in Washington D.C. and we need to go to Rome. Before we get to Rome, we need to know where we are starting from. Right? We need to know where we are, because only knowing where you are, you can get the best destination and path to get where you're going. And so I find that a lot of people skip the step of knowing where they are. So the first step is, which of these four stages are you in? In which area of your life? You look at every area of your life, relationships with family, with friends, with loved one, your money, your career, or your job, your fun life, you just different areas of your life. And then you look at each one of them from the prism of four levels of success, let's call them. Are you in survival there? Are you in stability? Are you in success? Or are you in significance? See, survival, we all have been there, we know what it is. I'm barely making it. I feel hopeless at times. I don't know how I'm going to make it. That's what survival sounds like. Stability is my head's above the water. I have a plan. I'm following the plan. I'm cautious, but I'm stable. I'm moving. I'm moving. I'm no longer frozen by fear like I am in survival. I am moving. I'm stable. One foot in front of the other. Whether it is a marriage where it is a bit shaky, but we're working it out. Whether it is my finances where I have a job, all my needs are covered. I don't have too many vacations yet, but my needs are covered. Success is when you get to a point of your desires being met in the most fulfilling way. Success is your desires are met in a fulfilling way. You're not sacrificing for financial success, let's say, with the lack of personal time and the other way around. So you're succeeding and it's about you. You're nourishing you. You're successful. And the significance is when you understand that you can help others on that same path through your talents. And so it's fascinating. You can be very significant in relationships and in survival with money. But our subconscious mind, unless we teach it to differentiate it this way, will assume we are at that lowest level in all areas of our life and will cause us to react and self-sabotage to that level. So we want to know where we are. Why? So we can move to the very next level. We want to set goals to go to the next level. If I'm in survival in my money, what will stability look like? That's where I'm going. But guess what? I'm in success in my marriage. What will significance look like? Oh, wait a minute. I can talk to friends that are struggling. I can pour into them from the place of significance, for success. So once you know that, it is very important because a lot of people misunderstand manifesting by going from survival. I need money to survive. I am lonely, abandoned, sick, and unloved. That's what survival in all areas of life sounds like. And I want to be an impactful influencer who's followed by 1 million people, who lives in a castle with the bride that is in blah, 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 blah. That's nothing wrong with the dream. But you know what's wrong? Your brain will freeze. You will actually have a brain freeze. And I call it the mind freeze, because just like a thermometer that needs to measure the temperature, you set the thermostat, that's a dream. The dream is all of this. But the thermometer needs to go 1 degree at a time, 1 degree at a time. So you want to be very clear. What are the steps you need to take to get you to the next level? That is that basic understanding of manifesting. And then you will adjust your mindset, your skill set, and your efforts to manifest. All of the manifesting in the industry is referred to mindset only. And once again, it's very important. That's where it starts, but that's not where it ends. So, how do you manifest with the subconscious mind? You're going to start with, actually, I'm going to go back to Shakespeare. Uh, Shakespeare's phrase, to be or not to be, that is the question. That's the most powerful metaphysical concept, if you will allow for it to be. Our subconscious mind doesn't understand negation. It will always attract to us what we focus on, whether positive or negative, that is a stronger feeling. So if I'm focusing on not being broke, not being lonely, not being sick, the subconscious mind does not hear not, and it gives me more of the dominant frequency. So the first step of awareness of manifesting is be aware. What are you focusing on? Are you focusing on being fit or not being fat? On being loved or not being lonely? Only you know the answer. Awareness is where it starts. I say, notice what you notice, because what you notice is what you create. So notice what you notice. Reframe then. If you've been up till now worrying about something bad happening, thank that scared self. Say, thank you for that awareness. What would I rather have? What would a person that has that feel like? Go into that place of feeling for it. Feel grateful for things that are like it in your life now. And then act as if a person who already has it in their life. You want more love? Be more loving. You want more money? Become more generous. And so that is the very foundation of manifesting.
Mm, mm. You got to give. You got to give. You got to give what you expect. You have to become the thing that you want to see in the world. You have to become it. You have to do it. You have to perform the action, and the universe will answer. It'll come to you. Um, just by putting it out there, because you initiated it. I love that. I love that. The pandemic, COVID-19, 2020, 2022 was a terrible year. It's still a terrible year. 2021, 2020, all of it. COVID, locusts, China, trade, all of it has been really bad for the US economy, and just across the globe. The one common denominator I always hear, and it strikes me when people say I'm broke, right? Everyone's talking around, I'm broke, I don't have money, I don't have this, I don't have enough money to do this thing. What are some steps? I want to focus on just that piece right there, being broke, and just what that does when you speak it out loud, right? How does someone first recognize it and shift that mindset of going from broke to prosperous? How do we start to uncover and unravel that?
Yeah, regardless of what someone's background is, I think there's great wisdom in all cultures. And if you take Judeo-Christian background, actually starting with the ancient Israel, we've all heard at least about Moses parting the Great Sea. We know who Moses is. We know he was a historic figure who was the Israel, who was a Jewish prophet who took out the slaves out of Egypt, right? At least we know who Moses is. But the less known story of Moses is that he didn't pick the role, right? He knew in his heart he was called, and he had this interesting vision as to where he's talking to the what he perceives to the burning bush, and what he perceives to be God, great overall designer, however you refer to that, the voice of the universe. But he's talking to God, and he's told to take people out of slavery. And he stutters, by the way. He is not a public speaker, not a public figure. He is, a abandoned child, by the way, whose mother sends him down the river, and he gets picked up. So he says, well, why would they believe me? I mean, who am I to tell them? And who do I say that you are? Like, he's talking to what I would say God energy as he sees it, and says, who do I say you are? And it's one of my favorite teachings, because that voice says, I am the great I am. Tell him I am has sent you. The phrase I am is that eternal energy part of us. So one of the commandments that Moses left was not to take God's name in vain. And yes, it's probably not swearing with whatever religion or spiritual path you represent, probably not a very healthy frequency. But the one that sneaks in on us is what comes after I am. Because I am is that eternal essence. So when I say I am a divine being, I am empowered, I am faithful, I am going to do this, I got this, I am me. We're empowering that power that we have access to flow through us. But the second we say, think things, I am broke, I am a loser. I am hopeless. I am devastated. I am desperate. Desperate is without a spirit. In my mind, in my humble opinion, is that's when we're also taking, quote unquote, the name of God in vain, or we are crushing the divinity within ourselves and our calling to be who we've come to be. And our words is our command. You know, the famous abracadabra comes from Hebrew avricadabre. You know, your words create. You speak and you create. So, and that's where it comes from. So, whatever comes after I am in your life is what you're affirming into your life. And that the life of that affirmation will follow.
Mm. Ooh, 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 ooh. I needed that. I needed that. I'm not even gonna touch that because that you can't come behind that. Miss Rader, I want to talk about your newest book, Prosper Me. What can readers expect? What can we all expect in purchasing your new book, Prosper Me? What?
Well, one thing you can't expect is a quick fix that'll catapult you into tomorrow.
Darn, darn. I was
not
looking for the cheat.
not it is not a 329.99 and you wake up a billionaire tomorrow. I'm very sorry to tell you it's not what it is, but it is a phenomenal map of spiritual expansion that leads to financial prosperity. The book is based on 35 laws of universal laws of expansion, and I apply them into practical steps of money. This is the book that took me from a girl who was running to the outhouse without indoor plumbing back in my grandma's backyard to a woman who was sobbing last year watching my mom and dad retired walking in front of my beachfront property. This is not a theory, it's a practice. It's a spiritual practice with practical financial steps where you prosper, and you prosper one step at a time, one law at a time, one application at a time. And it is simply inevitable because they're the laws.
Mm, mm. I love it. Get your copy today, y'all. And she hyphened this word, and I want to stick it out. I want it to stand out because it's a process. It's not an overnight success. You're not gonna be instant millionaire. You're not gonna change your life over time. How you got to the life you have today took time. So how to change that life is also going to take time. But if you commit, if you stick to it, you will see results. And that's what the book is, a guide. It's a guide. It's not a marathon. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
I love
So
it. I love
I
it.
love Miss Rader, you've been epic this entire episode, and you've shifted the way of how we think and how the United States has thought about itself for a long time. If you had one more teaching, one more nugget to share, one message that you had to share, what would that be to that young boy, that young girl out in the audience that was just stuck in a rut and they needed to hear your words to change their trajectory?
You know, I don't believe everybody's born to be a billionaire or even maybe a millionaire, but I know that you were born to prosper. That you, just as you are, were born to prosper. I want to invite you to go to moneyquiz.me. Take a free quiz. It'll tell you which one of your patterns you need to heal today to start a journey to that prosperity.
Check it out. That's moneyquiz.me. HTTP moneyquiz.me. Take that free quiz and start the process. Start the process today. Get started today. How can we connect? How can we learn more about what you're doing? And this train has left the station, but it's not too late to hop on board. How can we find you?
You2shine.com. Contact me through this site. I will always reach back.
Love it. Love it. And that's you2shine.com for my audio listeners. So thank you all for tuning in. Miss Rader, I want to say to you, thank you for what you do. This has been phenomenal, and you are necessary, and we need what you're doing. So thank you for giving back in this way and sharing.
Thank you so much for having me, Marcus. Phenomenal time. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My pleasure. And thank you all, my audience, for tuning in to the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. I hope this message has helped you change your mindset and shift things for a better tomorrow and a better purpose, because you are totally worth it and you're so necessary. So, like I always end every show, take care of your friends, take care of your family, and always, always take care of business. This is Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show and the incredible, amazing Miss Victoria Rader at youtoshine.com. Check her out. She's changing lives every day. Love you guys. Bye.